New York's a special place. Sometimes you go outside and you're like, what's that moving in the gutter over there? I know that guy. And it's somebody you know. And it turns out that Philadelphia broadcaster, very well known there, semi-retired, but still causing...
Don't ever use that word.
Still causing a ruckus still, is my main man, Howard Eskin, who's in New York to say hi. How you been, buddy?
I've never had a bad day in my life.
Yeah. And I was there for a lot of
bad moments, and here's one that might be one of those bad moments in a great day.
So you put out a story the other day that Ben Simmons is broke, and I'm saying to myself, well, there must have been a lot of kickback on that story, but none, huh?
None, because it's accurate. I said cash flow broke, and here's the reason. First of all, Ben Simmons is a fraud. That's number one. He was so overrated. All these people that said he's a generational player, he's a fraud. He can't shoot a jump shot in a league that's all about jump shots. Won't shoot a foul. Won't go to the foul line. He won't drive to the basket, go to the foul line. But he gets fined for every game that he doesn't attend. He doesn't make the road trips. I don't know what happens at home because he comes in early and then he gets out of there.
Right.
But that's $360,000. Okay, so I know down the line he's going to get his money. However, they kept his money in escrow. He hasn't gotten a paycheck yet. Now, think of his expenses. $17.5 million home in L.A. with 3 pools and 3 kitchens.
Three pools?
3 pools and
What
3
do you
kitchens.
need 3 pools
Two,
for?
I understand.
Do you?
Yeah. Like an upper deck pool and a lower deck pool, just because y'all don't want to go downstairs to go for a swim.
So he's got...
or an indoor-outdoor situation.
Yeah, right.
I get the indoor out.
All right.
He's got 3
The
kitchens,
third
too.
pool I don't get.
What's that?
I
What
don't
do you
get
need
that
3
one.
kitchens for? How many times can you cook?
Like, let's say you're coming over.
Yeah.
And I put you in the in-law suite. Make your own dinner. Now you got your own kitchen.
Okay,
right?
all right. So he's got that.
All right.
He's got 2 homes in Philadelphia, one in New Jersey, which he's trying to sell for $5 million.
We saw that one online. Yeah.
Okay, another one in Philadelphia, which is probably worth about $3 million. So let's say that's $8 million in homes there, $17.5 million.
Right.
He buys a new car, and he's not buying a car $20,000 or less. He's buying a car $300,000 or more every 5 or 6 weeks.
What does he do with the old cars?
I guess he gets rid of them. I don't know. But he loves to take pictures without a shirt. So
Right.
it's better with a new car than with an old car.
I guess.
So when does he have to come back then? Doesn't he eventually have to say, I need my money, I got to go back and play basketball?
They're playing chicken. And I think Daryl Morey is really overrated as a general manager. What did he ever do for Houston except leave him in a shambles? He's not going to trade him because he wants to get value. He doesn't want 50 cents on the dollar. The guy's only worth 25 cents on the dollar.
And by the way, I'm going to make this clear. I wouldn't make the trade, but why would they not take Kyrie Irving back? Kyrie Irving's a 10 times better player, and he'd be eligible to play.
The Nets won't trade
No,
Kyrie Irving.
I agree. I wouldn't. But I've also heard, Philadelphia wouldn't do it. Well, why the hell would they
Yes,
not do it?
They would do it.
They would do it. Okay.
They would do anything. But the thing is, and then he's dismissive with coaching. He won't learn how to improve his shot. He doesn't want to. And then Glenn Rivers, he lost the name of Doc because Julius Erving's the only Doc in Philadelphia. So I call him Glenn Rivers.
Sixers like you.
I respect that.
They cut off your media access yet or no?
Not yet.
You still welcome in the building?
Yeah, but I gotta keep on looking both ways when I walk through the door.
Exactly.
But it's a joke. He's the Ben Abler. All he does is let him do whatever he wants to do. And this is the problem. Now all of a sudden they're going to ask this child to do things that he's never had to do. His parents coddled him in college. By the way, here's a star player, supposedly, who had a 500 record at LSU. So it was Brandon Ingram was the second pick.
Let me ask
He's
you
a
a
better
question.
player.
If he were on a team with Allen Iverson and Allen Iverson's prime, right, what would AI have done with him? Because you have a
would've
leader
put him
in
in
the
the
team,
corner.
and Embiid's the leader, and he's basically washed his hands of it, but he doesn't do anything about it.
Right.
AI would have gotten up in his face, wouldn't he have? Or am I totally wrong?
Yeah,
on
he
that?
would have probably said things to him. I don't know what he would have done to him in the locker room. But that clearly wouldn't have worked because Ben Simmons is irrelevant unless he has the ball in his hands. But what does he do? Where do you play him?
Okay, now let me
Can't
ask you
shoot,
this.
Won't shoot.
Hold on, before you say anything
ahead.
else, I can't stop staring at that ring on your finger. What is that?
Yeah,
is that a championship ring?
It's a Super Bowl ring
Oh,
from the
my
Eagles
God.
in 2017.
Oh, my
There goes
God.
all journalistic integrity right out the
Wait a
window.
minute.
there.
Oh, let me clear
You're the sideline reporter for the Eagles, and you're wearing an Eagles Super Bowl ring.
Everything
looks great down here, fellas.
Wayne.
fantastic.
Oh.
Back to you, Merrill.
You have not changed from when I knew you at first. You're still the same. I don't know if I can say it. It's New York.
Howard and I worked together from 93 to 97 at WIP in Philadelphia.
Well, but the thing is, every broadcast team, and I'm part of the broadcast team for the Eagles.
They get a ring?
Gets a ring.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That is so
Everybody
So, like, Bob Papa's got 2 Super Bowl
apparently
rings?
so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
So
mean,
Carl Banks has 4 rings?
Yeah.
No, not
So,
he
yeah.
has 4, yeah.
Well, if he's part of the broadcast team,
For the radio.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
wear-
for the radio, and there's no TV in the NFL.
Do you wear that ring everywhere? Or was this
No,
something you
I
showed
just-
off to New York because you were being
wore
a
it up
jackass?
here
Which one is
because
it?
I wore it up here because the Jets forget about.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
Giants, you have to wipe the mold off the ring and the trophies because it's so old because you live off of those things up in New York when you're a Giants fan.
I mean-
So I wore it.
Oh, hold on a second.
I
I'm
put the
sorry.
ring-
The Giants have won 4 Super Bowls,
Yeah,
right? How many of the Philadelphia Eagles won?
I don't care.
I
It's all-
lost count. I'm sorry.
It's past history.
You win one a couple of years ago. Now you're cocky and arrogant.
It's past history.
Past history. Act like it was 200
Listen,
years ago.
He's also got a 1980 Phillies ring on his other hand.
Yeah,
So
well,
you're the sideline reporter for the Eagles.
So I got a ring. So
You got a
I
ring.
wore it up here to rub it in.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I know
I'm
you
rubbing
did.
it in.
Yeah, is that a
Well,
replica or is that a real one?
with the dope you have as a head coach with the Giants, I'm really going to.
He's a
rub it
dope.
in.
We
You
agree.
know, I will say this to you, though.
We agree.
There is the possibility, I was talking to Howard about this earlier today, that the final Sunday of the NFL season
This is great.
could come down to, let's say the Eagles beat the Cowboys. You guys could sit at home and have to wait for the Giants to beat Washington to get you in as a wild card team, which would be the exact opposite situation of what happened last year when your former coach decided to screw the Giants
That's not why
and
he
allow
did it.
Washington to win.
That's not why he did it.
Well,
hey, you know,
because you made a promise to a dying child or something?
No, but it's just, first of all, Jalen Hurts had 72 yards in the first 3 quarters. It's not like he was lighting it up.
Jalen Hurts gave him a better chance to win, though.
Yeah.
Well, he did give him a better
Okay.
chance to.
That's where Giant fans are pissed.
But at the end of the season, he promised Nate Sudfeld, whether you like it or not, he was going to play. Should have put him in at halftime, and that would have cut that down.
Yes, it
but
would've.
because that whiner on NBC, Chris Collinsworth, didn't like it, and that's where the game was. He started whining like a little child. So he whined, and that's why it became an issue. But regardless of that, Joe Judge should just shut the bleep up because, hey, pal. Hey, genius, why don't you win more than 6 games and then you can complain?
Well, we agree with that.
Yeah, okay.
We all, with that point, like, you know, I'm not a
But are
Giant
you
fan,
going
neither
to
is
be?
Evan,
But are you going to be pissed off if the Giants start Jake Fromm at quarterback
No.
week 18? You're not going to care.
He's probably as good as that stiff
Well, that's
that you
true.
have at quarterback.
We've
anyway.
been saying that actually. He's probably better than Mike Lennon.
It's not going to be much worse, I can tell you that.
a
Will you
joke.
agree finally after all these years, and will you say on the radio that you've always felt that the cheesesteak is overrated?
No, the cheesesteak is fine. It's the cheese whiz.
You're not a whiz guy?
I'm not a whiz guy.
Not
a whiz guy is a joke. It's you pour a bunch of fluids in cheese whiz, and these people in South Philadelphia think it's a great thing. Hey, look, put American cheese on there or provolone.
Okay, listen,
Don't give me the cheese whiz.
Now, I'll give you the pretzel. You guys have the better soft pretzel. There's no doubt about that.
clearly.
But the cheesesteak, to me, it's like, that's
well,
our
we have the
claim to
bread.
fame.
We have the bread. The
The
bread's
bread
better.
ain't better. You have Amoroso bread. It ain't better
No,
than New York
Amoroso's
bread.
not the bread.
Well, there's a new bread in Philly?
No, it's Sarcone's. It's these bakeries that make the bread.
Okay, but most of those places are using Amoroso rolls for years and
If
years
they are,
and
then
years.
it's not a good cheesesteak.
Look at you.
And Amoroso's great if you buy it in the supermarket. But when you want a cheesesteak, you want the real
The
good
real
bread.
deal.
Yeah.
What'll be the next team you could pick? Here are your options. Any of the New York teams, any of the Philadelphia teams. Which is the first team to win the championship?
Wow. Well, I would say the Yankees because I like, believe it or not, I'm from Philadelphia. I like the Yankees because I like Aaron Boone.
Okay.
I really do like Aaron Boone.
No, he's a
and
Philly guy. I
I think
respect
he's
that.
a good manager.
That's like in a weird way saying Philly, but okay.
Yeah, well, he grew up in Philly, so I knew him as a
Yep.
kid.
You probably knew his dad, right?
I knew his dad and I know his brother. Yeah, but he's good, and I think they would probably be the next. But they're in such a tough division. So if I had to go down the line, you can forget about the Giants. They're buried for years.
Do the Nets have no shot in your mind or something? You just forgot about them? They don't
no,
exist?
because the West is so good. That's why you got to
Let me get past Milwaukee before I worry about the West. But yes, I understand
You
where
got to
you're
get
coming
past
from.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But I do like the Nets. I like Steve. Steve Nash as a coach is really.
Steve Nash had a great night last night.
Yeah.
He really did. I thought the adjustments he made.
Foul?
No, it was getting the double off of Kevin Durant by using him in the post because they were doubling KD on every possession on the perimeter. And Steve Nash said, I can't let this happen. And he made that adjustment, which led to that Durant fadeaway in which they couldn't send a double on him. So that
it was also a smart challenge.
Was a great
that
challenge.
Reggie was against. It was a clearing
the Harden
ball.
Yes,
the Harden with like 50 seconds left.
I think he's a brilliant coach.
Who?
Steve Nash.
Relax with that.
I don't know if I'm that brilliant, but he had a really good night last night.
I can say brilliant.
Well, because I saw what he did with Phoenix, and I know what kind of basketball mind he has.
Well,
And
the
players still got to make the plays.
Yeah.
But I like the Knicks coach too. I think he's a really good coach.
We like Thibodeau. Ultimately, Thibodeau's going to be one of those guys. Like he's going to outwear his welcome, but are we going to win anything before he does?
They'll play great.
He's one of those types of guys.
They'll play great until until it's over.
Most overrated.
Well, I will say this: the Sixers are in neverland. The Sixers are 2 to 3 years away from being 2 to 3 years away from being 2 to 3 years away.
I love it. I love it.
He ain't going any more Sixers games this year. I know the owner well, and he's listening. And you just got excommunicated.
Well, the owner he left town. He went to Miami.
Yeah. The one went to Miami.
Michael's a great guy.
Greatest guy in the world.
Just remember, according to Craig, James Harden's going to your team next year, so enjoy that.
I believe he is. Yes.
I will say this:
I do believe
that fraud, Daryl Morey. That's what he's waiting for.
Of course, he'll opt out and go to Philly.
So they're going to do a sign and trade?
Yeah.
What makes it? Why would James Harden want to come to Philadelphia?
I'd have to walk you through it off air because it's too complicated.
Because he'd rather play with Joel Embiid than Kevin Durant, really?
It's too complicated around here.
Joel Embiid just pisses off everybody around the league because he instigates all these people. So Joel Embiid's not going to have more than 2 to 3 years left either. Big guys
he gets hurt a lot, right?
Yeah, and that's part of the issue. So Harden's got to find a team that gives him a chance in the next couple of years.
Well, he's not leaving. He's staying in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and I think
he's going to age horribly with us, and I'll live with it, and we'll all live with it.
You got to live with that. Because he and Kevin Durant together, and
that's it. Let's go.
Maybe Kyrie will get some sense. And
no.
Well,
he'll never play again.
It's good seeing you. I've not seen you in a long time. Actually, the last time I saw Howard was the morning after the Boomer and Carton 10-year anniversary show down in Atlantic City.
That was great.
And that's the last time I stepped foot in that building, too, as a matter of fact. Can't go back there.
What's the matter? You don't like that building?
I love that building, by the way.
You do.
Can't go back in it. Yes.
I know.
I had some great nights in that building and some terrible nights.
But
Evan. That night it was our 10th anniversary. I lived out a dream that night. So Boom and I have our 10-year anniversary special. I DJ'd at the club, and then I played the drums at one of the bars in there. It was like the greatest night ever. And then, the bleep hit the fan.
I'm on the air, and Craig comes walking by, and I said, "Hey, come on in the air." And it says, "You've been up all night, huh?" He says, "Yeah, I've been up all night."
Pretty much.
So the hell with the commercials. I just blew right through like 2 breaks.
Did like an hour
and he's
straight,
just going crazy, ripping people on the air and just doing all this stuff. And it was.
I didn't know I was going to get arrested 2 weeks later. I didn't see that coming. Yeah, had I known, I wouldn't have gone on with you.
What's the matter? You couldn't pay somebody off there too?
It was. Listen, that was a great night, a terrible day. I'll say that. But I did not sleep that night. He's right about that.
I know.
And I'm like, of all the things, I'm hoping the all-night noodle place was open. It's closed. I come around the corner, I hear this jackass like, "Philadelphia, call me up. The Sixers suck, the Eagles can't win, and the Phillies are out of there." I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go." And you want to come on? I'm like, "Yeah, I'll rip all the guys I used to work with."
That's all right. The Phillies are the 3rd or 4th best team in the division next year too.
Well, we'll see.
If they even play baseball, which they will.
It's good seeing you.
It's my pleasure,
and you
Evan.
look
It's great meeting you.
Nice meeting you, man.
And I'm glad that your boss is your boss and not my boss any longer.
Yeah, so Howard's son is Spike Eskin. He's our boss, and there was a period of time where he was your boss.
Yes, he was.
In theory.
Yeah.
In theory? What does that mean?
Well,
you didn't get to actually boss him around?
Howard Eskin to Philadelphia in a lot of ways is Mike Francesa to New York, all right? Legendary.
Mike who?
Right. Legendary afternoon drive guy, and was really one of the first guys to do sports talk in Philadelphia, dating way back to like the WCAU days.
Well, there was an FM station, WWDB.
UNC Fredericks were the two kind of, and he's passed away sadly. But you guys were like the first guys to really do full-time sports talk. So he's a legendary guy, and as he'll tell you, one of the most disliked guys from a fan base because he's an a-hole on the air and pulls no punches. All good, though. It's hard to make a career out of that, and he's did it brilliantly, which I think is very more difficult than people imagine it is to do. But one thing I always said about Howard was, and it's you and Howard would get along great from this standpoint, and I always said this about you behind your back and in front of your face. Yeah, a lot of people disliked Howard Eskin, but there was never a night where he wasn't in a locker room at a game.
Right.
So he'd rip a player, rip a manager, rip an owner, and he'd be there the same night, face to face, to say the same thing to them in person, which I had tremendous respect for because a lot of guys have big mouths on the radio and they never once have to meet the guy that they're ripping or go toe-to-toe with him. He did it on the regular.
Right.
Like you think you go to a lot of games, he went to double the games you go to. No joke.
Guys,
You had to do that or else you couldn't be you.
Well, and I think in the long run, they respected it. However, there were more than a few that said, I want to kick your ass.
And one guy tried. Who's the offensive lineman that attacked you? Who's the guy in the sports bar from the Eagles that went after you?
No, it wasn't. He didn't attack me.
He almost choked you out. Who was it?
He saved me.
No, who
Dave
was it?
Remington.
Dave Remington, who was Boomer's
roommate with the Bengals.
And best friend, and the Remington
Well,
word
guy jumped me at a remote.
Oh, Remington saved you.
He saved me.
That's the opposite of trying to
I
choke him
thought,
out.
AI went after you? Who?
Well,
who went
AI
after you?
didn't. We
Somebody
didn't get
tried
along.
to kill you, right?
Well, they all wanted to. Mitch Williams wanted to punch me in the mouth. So I said, let's step outside, knowing we wouldn't do it.
Right.
So there were a few guys, managers. Charlie Manuel wanted to kick my ass.
Ferg, what's his name? 93 Phillies. What was his name? Fergosi.
Fergosi and I, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
hated you, right?
Just despised
Macho
me.
Row, remember that whole thing?
So we finally went and had it. We talked it out because the Phillies were getting crushed because he wouldn't answer my questions, and then he became the jerk that he is and was a terrible manager. May he rest in peace. We went into the office. The Phillies called me down. 45 minutes. The media was standing outside. They thought there'd be blood all over the place. We bleeped each other and said, I don't like you for this. Well, I don't like you for this. And we just got it all. Yeah, we got it all out.
Howard Eskin, good seeing you, pal.
Now, it is my pleasure. And just I'll leave you with this, with your boss, who was my son. I didn't name him Spike. But he finally realized he came to Philadelphia with just the name of Spike. Finally realized he'd get a little street cred by putting Eskin behind it.
He's your son. He's your son.
So in that regard, he was smart.
And he still believes in the process.
The process is a joke, a Ponzi scheme, and a fraud. Scam Hinkie was a complete joke.
Good seeing you, buddy.
My pleasure.
Nice
Evan,
seeing you,
again,
man.
good seeing
That's
you.
Howard Eskin from WIP down in Philadelphia.